And hello.
Oi.
Hello, how you guys doing?
Oi.
Hello.
Oi. What's going down? Hey guys, we're gonna play some Avatar today. We just went straight in from dog cam straight into the hangout chat.
It's almost
great.
like we're professional.
It's almost. I like how Luca is on the Avatar slide right now, so it's like everybody's here. Oh, there they go. Perfect. Perfect. My guys, it's Wednesday, my dudes. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Network Bot did his job. That's true.
For me.
That's true. Network Bot did do their job. Well, yeah, but the correct time is Wednesday.
Tell me about the correct time.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, just because you're in a different pocket dimension.
I'm just saying.
Now, Tristan, just because you're in the wrong time zone.
I refuse to believe the place that I'm in is the wrong time zone.
Everyone is in the wrong time zone except for me and Nightshade.
No.
We're the only two who are in the correct time zone.
I don't believe the time zone exists.
If I wasn't in the Canada dimension.
The Canada
dimension.
Land of nice neighbors and maple syrup.
Yeah, I don't know about the nice neighbors part.
I mean,
but there definitely is syrup.
Your neighbors seem pretty nice. They lie to you.
They probably watch your streams on mute because they have the audio available.
Exactly.
They probably just don't want me to stop streaming because they like my streams so much.
Yeah. They're ready to see freaking Meganium have a comeback.
Got a nice Umbreon today.
Meg's gonna destroy everything. We love them. We love Meg. That being said, we are going to be jumping straight into game today. So I hope you guys are ready for that as we immediately go from our hangout scene all the way over the yellow dice rolls. And we're here. Hello! We're in the room. The room is here. The room is nigh. We have found ourselves about here. The room is exactly as it was last time, except I moved some things down here to get them out of the way. But that is neither here or there. As we all will be coming back to messing with things about here, last time we had a bunch of neato things go down. Several of our people had decided to go around and keep themselves occupied with the goings-on of social interaction. We're trying to decide what exactly is happening in the final days of everyone's I guess lives. No, the final days leading up until the party would like to go and assault the desert, try to go after the remnants of the black rings. The black wings. Our boy Jin has taken up a responsibility to Ba Sing Se as the one who is getting shit done. While he is taking care of Ba Sing Se's normal matters, he is also currently trying his best to align all of the efforts that he can into figuring things out. For example, he sent out a couple of squads to try to learn some things about the desert. They're going to try to learn exactly where this tower is that apparently the Black Rings are associating themselves with. So they sent out Nahando and Sudi leading to some things of Dai Li into the desert to attempt to find some things there. He has also sent out both of the airbending gurus that we have with us, both Guru Kura as well as Guru Takal. They're going to make their way over toward the Northern Air Temple and hopefully find a group of airbenders who can help them get their vehicles through the sand, which will hopefully get some things going pretty well for them. On top of that, he was also chatting with the Fire Lord, as the Fire Lord has given his entirety of his support for the growing concerns. Let them know that while the war is still happening over in the Fire Nation land, they have been somewhat reduced as the Black Rings have returned themselves over to the Earth Kingdom. While things are, again, a bit of a stalemate there, he is saying that he will try to give as much of his efforts into actually pulling things off as possible. As well, he's wanting to be going basically as one of the people in the headlong of things, making sure that he is someone going off into the desert, and made sure to let Jin know, if I do perish in the desert and Nuan ever wants the throne, make sure she gets it. And our boy Jim was like, you didn't even have to ask me that, my dude. Of course I'll do that. We have our boy Akira making his way through, trying to learn more and more about his lightning bending, trying to make sure he can be ready to defend his friends when possible. So he made his way to the previous avatar, trying to get more instruction on how to go through things. The avatar wanted to give him a bit of a test once again, told him that if you would like to have the one thing I can give you, then you would need to prove yourself by controlling your lightning as best as you can, because if you do strike forward with all of your power, then a lot of the time, because of the way lightning generation works, you'll most likely kill yourself. And he doesn't want you to do that. He wants you to not do that thing where you murder yourself. So he's trying to teach you how to limit your lightning. Upon doing so, upon learning this lightning javelin move where you get your coat your lightning generation into a metal javelin and toss it, you're able to not strike down the spiritual tree, and as such, you gained the blessing that the previous avatar wanted to give you, as Dion Lee gave you a piece of himself, which apparently will give you one chance. If you fall, it hopefully will raise you up without having much difficulty. You will have one chance to not be deceased. We will see how exactly that is used at a later time. They were not the only person wanting to go talk to the previous avatar, however, as both Rue and Luca made their way over to them, trying to figure out if there's any waterbending secrets he could possibly give them. Unfortunately, he does not have anything to give them, and he already promised his second life thingy over to Akira. So the best he can do is let them know that they need to work on what makes them special, work on what makes them unique. Make sure that if Luca is going to be fighting a bloodbender, because they're pretty sure that if the previous avatar can be revived and that airbending master can be revived, most likely so can the bloodbender that was fought in the underground area. So if you are going to be fighting that person, Luca, you need to prove yourself to be the better bloodbender. You need to be able to bend better than him. Work on that as well as you can. And talking to Rue, if you want your spirit to listen to you, if you want to have it aid you in these endeavors, you need to show it that you are someone to rely on. You need to put it in those positions and reliably win. You need to work on your plant bending, because as far as he understands, Rue may be one of the only ones, at least around the area, that would be able to do things there. And the desert has some pretty interesting plants. We'll see if any of those are something that Rue would like to mess around with and see if there's anything going down. Maybe a cactus bomb. Who's to say? But they will be hopefully working on that, and also hopefully not being bended by spirit bending. But who's to say if spirit bending is even going to be a thing? Who's fucking just don't let them do it, right? You guys got this. You fucking go at it. Go team.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. We also had several different movements along the people throughout the areas, as well as the ones who are making their way off into the deserts and off toward the Northern Air Temple. One of them being, you guys did finally learn in the week that is taking place right now, Brightwing, unfortunately, as well as Grilled Cheese and Isha, is also missing, which means Brightwing is most likely somewhere with the Black Rings, because even though they're a bird brain, they probably would have made their way back if they could. With all that being said, there are currently very few allies you guys do not have with you here in Ba Sing Se. If you would like to, you could try to see if you can gather more of them from about, if you want to try to look for them. However, you do have a veritable army at your disposal. The biggest things that elude you currently is you do have a very massive part of the Dai army still off over in Omashu. That is currently where the majority of the Earth Kingdom's army is at. There is also the idea that somewhere off in the north there is the one Oni you guys didn't have completely come with you. There is also the Ona if you would like to try to get any sort of things from there. There is the Night Mother if you guys really want to try to get them to work with you some more. And other than all of those things, if you guys have any other things on the mind, we can work with them and see what's going down. This is the last day of preparation before we head off into the desert, hopefully. We will see if we get through everything today or not, but we are going to assume that that is where we're at the moment. So before we move on, before we go further off into this, how about we roll this dice, this big funny dice over here?
I've been waiting. It's time.
Is it time?
The die will roll on top of the city, crushing everybody underneath it, but giving a resounding number. And that number is 1.
I mean, that's good, right?
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
I'm about to master earthbending in 1 week.
Speaking of about to master earthbending in 1 week, we still have a couple of things for the people who are going over their free week of things to do. We are going to go through Ichibei, going to go through Mei Li, and we're going to go through Luca whenever Luca does return, before finally seeing if anybody would like to have anything else happen as we get things closer off and see where the story kind of takes everything. So, with that being said, Ichibei and Mei Li, which one of you are ready to tell me what you guys are doing over this week?
I got a couple things in mind.
All right, Ichibei, we'll go to you first then. And while we're going to you, Squeaky, think about things in the background based off of, just the things that have already happened and the things that will happen here. So,
Yeah,
Ichibei,
a couple things. Hello.
you would have, after everything is said and done, you would have went off to bed after everything happened. You died that day, so that was crazy. But you do
Sadly,
feel,
yes, but I lived.
you do feel good about it. You do feel pretty good about dying, because apart from coming back to life, which is pretty cool, you also do feel whole. You feel that little bit of whatever that was enter back into you that you had lost without even knowing that you had lost it. You are now a certified earthbender. As you wake up the next day, as you are readying yourself to go about doing things, I would like to know, with this week that you know that nobody can really do much of anything, because you guys know that if you're gonna enter the desert, according to the prophecy, you guys will enter in the summer. So while you guys are waiting this week, while you guys are figuring things out, what exactly would you like to do for this week? Is there anybody in particular you want to talk to? Is there anything in particular you want to set your eyes on? Any sort of training you would like to do? What are we doing?
There are 2 things I want to do, and there's kind of a side third thing, but it ties in with one of the 2, so it's not something that really has to draw out.
Yeah, we can figure things out.
One is, if I got this ability, I might as well figure out how to use it at even a basic understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is, I got a week. I want to talk to my dad.
No,
but not
no,
like my alive, but not my alive dad. Not my dad.
I know who.
I want to talk to my parent.
I know who you're meaning. In order for you to do that, you will have to do some meditating, potentially with one of the more spiritual among us, which is to say, most likely Nuwan, or one of the gurus, or other Nuwan.
Also, I think my mom wanted to see my dad as well, so
that is very
probably
true.
rope her into that.
That is very true. So starting things first, you want to check out your abilities, see if you can use them to the basics of what you can think of, right?
Yes.
Over the course of the week, at some point, probably the day after everything was settled, because knowing you would be most likely avoiding bed rest, even though you died.
Feel great.
As you would make your way out to potentially start messing with things, it would take a minute for it to kind of come to you, but at some level you would probably have grabbed one of your earthbending friends or one of the Daili around you to give any sort of very basic instruction, and you've been fighting benders your whole life. You understand exactly how they kind of work. Within a little bit of time...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, or Jin when he finishes playing The Sims.
Yeah. That's why I said one of your earthbending friends. Unless you don't consider him a friend.
The fucking boot camp I'm gonna put you through is gonna make your ninja training look like fucking kiddie school.
Looking over at the things you can do with your earthbending, you have your earth basics, you have earthbending, and you have the thing. One thing that you will note is that earthbending comes rather naturally to you. Whenever you had heard things before about whenever it was taken from you, it was taken from you and handed off to someone in particular. Who's to say who it was handed off to? Let's be honest. There's not any way anyone could ever know this. As your power was taken.
Why
from
did you zoom in?
Don't worry about it.
Why did you zoom in?
I don't think you need to worry about that. So, as you are go ahead and doing this, you yourself would realize that you are basically a prodigy when it comes to this. The earthbending.
Wow, I'm actually a genius.
The earthbending that comes from this. That's why I gave you your basics mastery immediately, and your and things like that. But you are able to move things relatively well. You are at a relatively okay level of doing things. If anybody out there would like to think of around the kind of mastery we're thinking, imagine when Zahir first got airbending. That's kind of like where Ichibei is right now. As Ichibei, after just a little bit of instruction, you are able to move rocks around basically pretty well. You're able to strike with them relatively good. You'd still know that in order to do anything big with earthbending, other than the thing, you will need to have a lot more practice. But if you decide to practice out the whole week, maybe we can give you another earthbending ability. You do know that unfortunately it will most likely take you at least several months of training to perform any kind of special type of bending, since you are still very new to bending at all. So unless you guys decide to like chill out for a year, you're probably at whatever sort of limit you can get before going into the desert as far as just regular earthbending is concerned. But yeah, you can definitely mess around with things. You note immediately, since you are since you are a very disciplined person, that any sort of gains you could gain in earthbending would probably take longer than you have.
No, it totally makes sense.
But like I said, if you train throughout the whole week and we say we have you rolling some things, maybe we can have you learn a earthbending technique before we get to the end of things. That being said, you also have other things you want to do.
That's true.
As you are doing this, you had said that you wanted to maybe go and speak with your mom.
And he said I wasn't going to go back to sleep. Yeah. Joke's on you. I have to. Jokes.
You make your way over, and you find eventually your mother in the palace. As things go about, they do have a couple of Daili with them, as well as a couple of people that you would recognize as some of the regular Earth Nation guard that are around this place. She has apparently been given their own escort to go throughout the area as if they need it, but you know, they're there. As you would make your way to them, they would wave them away and then make their way off to you as well, as you see them in front of you. On your feet already?
I don't have time to be in bed.
I believe that brashness of yours, it might have been why you were in the sand earlier.
She talking about me dying, or is she talking about me training?
In the sand, as in dying, because you were on the beach whenever they saw you.
I mean, I was standing. I don't... I get it. I won't make the same mistake again. I was upset.
I understand. It is rough to take on our style of things. And through most of your life, you've been very adept at it. But you see them kind of move their hand from their side to their face for a moment before looking back to you. I can't say that I'm not... I can't say that I myself can't wait to see them as well. If I am to find them, they will most likely meet the end of my blade as well. But while that thing you have there is a very nice trick, something that can aid you, it is not how I want to see you in the future. The last thing I want to see is my son dead and something else walking in his corpse.
Yeah, to be fair, I did not know how that was gonna go. I just said take over, and then
Sorry, partner.
apparently I was like super pucked up then. Actually, didn't think he was gonna get me out of there. I thought I was just gonna die killing everyone else. I'd die in front of my mom.
We'll find him.
Count on it.
He's not very far away at this point, and while everyone else is wondering how about where they're going to be at, if we have to tear the entire desert up to find him, we will.
If that's to be happening in the weeks to come, then we don't have much time. I did say to you before that whatever information you were willing to divulge for our benefit, that I might have been able to draft something up between you and Father.
Oh?
Don't get me wrong, I want to see him too. I'm just letting you know that this is something that we should probably consider doing now rather than later.
You would see him now? What, because you don't expect to see him later?
Well, I figure that if we pass over to the next life, we're probably going to see him again one way or another, but...
Maybe seeing him beforehand would be good then. Having him talk some sense into you might make things a little bit easier on me. Are you sure we can? I mean, you know exactly how to find him?
I have an idea, but... From my experience, this type of stuff really only depends on him. And less on us. I suppose we'll find out. It won't be all for naught, though, if he's not willing. There's something I have to collect while I'm in the spirit world.
So seeing your father is a side trip.
Again, it's not like that.
I
just-
understand. I'm mostly trying to figure out if I want to go or not. There's a part of me that worries. I saw how I was whenever I got attacked, and I saw how you were the other day. Something makes me wonder if I'm strong enough to go to meet him again. or if I'm even strong enough to leave him again.
I understand that feeling. I was hoping that if I was going to see him again, that I'd be able to tell him that I avenged him. I don't want him to see us both beat up, but at the same time, I feel that there's at least something that maybe we can get from him. If he's willing.
And yeah, I'm willing to try whenever you are. How do we do it?
We gotta go sleep.
I don't want to sleep.
We need someone spiritually inclined to help us pass over to the spirit world. Obviously, one of those people would be the Avatar. But if Nuon finds herself too busy, then maybe one of our other friends.
Well, apparently there's a bargain sale on avatars right now, so we can have our pick.
Reminded me of that fucking moment in Dragon Ball where Vegeta finds out his kid's a Super Saiyan. He's like, oh yeah, it's just a Super Saiyan bargain sale. All right.
Well, you find whoever it is you're going to have help us out, and I will meet you outside in the gardens then.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so at this point, who would you like to ask first? There are several people around that you could potentially ask to take you further into spirit world shenanigans. You know that Nuwan is most likely somewhere around here. They would be someone that is relatively good to ask. So is Nuwan. They are also around here. So is potentially Yuki. You guys know that Yuki has been able to get you guys into the spirit world in the past. The gurus from the Air Nation would most likely be able to, but both of them are gone currently. So probably not. Other than that, there's not a ton of people, honestly. Other than that, maybe Toa and Yoru, probably not.
Really?
They're really good at the fighting thing of airbending and spiritual shit, but you know, they're also that. I'd like to know, where do you want to go?
I want to go find Arnuan first.
Okay.
Because A, I think she'd be willing, and B, I know her the most.
You would make your way off to go and find Nuwan. Upon doing so, you would have note that most, if not all, of the Daily around the area are finding themselves very busy, as Jin is keeping themselves throughout the city, as well as off in his little squads going into the desert. You are able to find someone around and ask them where the Avatar's residence would be. And as you are shown off to them, you do find in one of the royal rooms of the palace, you are able to find out Nuwan's place. You would make your way over toward it. It does not seem to have a traditional set of things here in the Earth Kingdom rooms. There's no like gigantic entryway. There's no anything like that. It seems to be mostly laid about with fine fabrics around the door area and around the floor where carpeting would be. Making your way up to it, there is a guard that is there. However, immediately upon seeing you, he would bring you over toward it forward. At this point,
I would hope.
At this point, you bring yourself to, and calling inside. Ichibe, is that you?
It's been a while. At least a month or so.
Door. You would find that the stone door would be seemingly just yanked open, most likely through earthbending of some kind, as Nuwan launches herself out and brings herself in front of you. It has been a long time. Are you okay? Are you yourself?
About as much as me as I can be, I think.
I didn't realize that you weren't yourself whenever I was off talking to my other me, and then people told me afterwards that you were that the you on the ground was actually him. Points to your waist.
That wasn't how I wanted to see everybody again. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I talked with the other me about that a little bit. Points to the mask. So I kind of get it. I understand. What's going on? Is there something going on?
Nothing serious. But there's a favor I'd like to ask from you.
Hmm?
A while back, when we were talking about communicating via the spirit world, we talked about an instance where we could potentially try to get in contact with my late father.
Oh, yeah, I can do that a couple of ways.
If you're willing to help me, I would definitely appreciate it.
Let's see. Do you want to talk to him here or there?
I didn't know I could bring him here.
You remember very early on in the campaign, Nuwan was able to channel spirits into themselves.
I get it. That makes sense.
But they do look to you. Would you like to speak to him here or there?
If it's all the same to you, I'd like to visit the spirit world again. There's something I'd like to do there while I'm at it.
I was told that there's not a lot of very spiritually, great places in Bossing, say, to do stuff with, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure that I could bring us in just about everywhere.
There's the funny tree.
There is the funny tree.
It hasn't been blown up.
You would note that as soon as you mention the tree, Ro does make themselves known off to the side. Once again, you would note that Ro now seems to be too big to hide up Nuwan's sleeves. So you see like this almost like just humongous snake-like lizard like walking up behind the door frame.
The sleeve thing was kind of an invasion of privacy anyways, so honestly...
As Ro looks up towards you, you speak of the tree that I was locked into.
I speak of the tree that we first met at, yes.
That is an extremely spiritual place, one that had reformed myself, at least to an extent, whenever I was still but an egg. Using the power of that tree, I was able to stave off death. So, yes, I believe it would be very good for your, worries. That being said, do you have a item of which to call the spirit to you?
I do. And if that doesn't work, my mother has more than enough on her person that would suffice.
We're gonna take your mom too?
I owe it to her for trying to help us out. She gave us a lot of details. Okay, yeah, sweet. Good. She fucking kept you alive while you were busy training with the Avatar.
Yeah, I didn't know he was the Avatar, so...
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew that. Except I knew like 2 weeks ago.
Except I knew, but whenever I rolled for it, it didn't work out, and nobody rolled good.
And he didn't know who I was until, like, about now.
Oh, he knew.
Wait, did he know the moment he saw me? Because he didn't know about Jin. Well, he did know about Jin. He didn't know about Mei Li? Which one was it? He didn't know about one of us.
Rue.
The moment he saw us.
Rue is the only person he didn't know.
To be fair, we ain't close.
Yeah.
No, but I mean like the first time we met him at the spas. You said that like he rolled low and didn't actually recognize one of us or something.
At the spas.
It doesn't matter. It was just something that I remember hearing. Not the spas, the fire beach.
There you go. I was like, spas? What the fuck? I wouldn't worry
The
too much.
fire beach.
As far as most of you, he knew immediately.
No, that's fair.
You guys all had abysmally low rolls though for the rolls that I had you guys look at. So that was
Yeah,
fun.
we had no fucking clue who that guy was.
And then whenever I finally had Rue roll, I'm like, maybe Rue will know. Nope.
Yeah. Although I Lindo knew since creation.
Yeah, you knew.
Yeah, I did.
You just really wanted to get that roll.
I didn't want the roll. I said it's funny if I don't get the roll.
After a bit of time, since you do have an item you said that you would like to use for it, you eventually gather up your mom, who's off in the gardens. You guys bring them off toward the large tree that is off a little bit away from where the palace is. There they are. Upon making your way off to this, we'll say this is like day 2 or 3. You bring mostly just those of you who are here, since you are not. There's not really a ton of other people you'd like to be like, hey, you guys want to come see my dad?
You want to see my dead dad?
You guys want to see?
I mean, I don't know who's cooler. The fucking ninja. You wouldn't call him the Shogun. The Hokage of the fucking village hidden in the reef. Or the Onis. I don't know if they want to meet him. If they don't, that's fine. I don't give a shit. But like,
you would expect.
I mean, you could probably invite your girlfriend. Like, hey,
I met my girlfriend's dead dad. I don't know if my girlfriend wants to meet my dead dad.
You would
I
know.
feel like it's an exchange thing.
You would know that as far as things are concerned, the Oni themselves, the biggest thing that separates them from the Dai Li and from your clan is they go through extremely rigorous training that normally would be too much for certain people. However, you didn't also know that when it came to fighting the Dai Li, they weren't amazingly behind the Oni, which means that they aren't like members of your clan, the stronger members such as Ishin and yourself are not amazingly behind the Oni, even before you kind of became one with the mask that you have. So as far as your father is concerned, he would most likely be somewhat on par with at the very least like a high Dai Li commander or one of the Oni. You're pretty sure that he could probably beat the shit out of Kazan.
I'm trying to think about the fucking. My dad could beat up your dad. I'm trying to figure out the fucking ninja tier list.
As far as the leader of the Oni, potentially in his prime, that your dad would probably lose to him. But hey, he wasn't in his prime when you fought him, so your dad could probably beat him up.
My dad could beat up your dad, who is 40 years older than my dad, and has to use a cane to walk.
As you go over here, would you like to invite Ryan?
That
is up to you.
know, if she wants to, she's welcome to, and she'd probably be welcome. She'd probably want to because I'm doing it, but I don't know.
What do you want?
I mean, it'd be kind of cool to show off my ninja girlfriend and my ninja dad.
As you would make your way over, the others making their way off to the tree, you would stop to invite Ryan. Excuse me. Ryan would, as normal, be making their extremely hot fucking fire tea. But
we can grab more spirit apples and make fucking crazy juice.
Yeah, we'll make fucking fire juice.
And honestly, if we gave a vial of that to Baba, she'd probably fucking lose it.
But
she likes getting high on sticks. She'll get high on that.
You do find them as they make their way to you. As you let them know what is going down, Ryan looks to you. Oh, well, I wasn't expecting to go and meet anyone of such a high regard to you today. I was expecting that you'd be doing more training. Have you already decided that you are set with your earthbending?
I cannot say for certain, though I seem to understand at the very least the basics. To a unbelievably reasonable amount. It's as if I was born to bend.
Well,
which would make sense based on what everybody said.
Perhaps your mother or father knows a little bit more about that. I believe it is... A natural talent like that is very rare. Have you spoken to your partner about what had happened to you?
I have not yet.
Is it gonna happen again?
I don't know. To be fair, it's not on him. Them. Whatever they are. I was the one that asked him, them, whoever they are, to help in my need.
I had spoken with the other Nuan recently. Apparently the mass they hold has gone quiet. Not entirely sure what that means, but as far as the spirit that you hold with you, hopefully it's better than what would happen. I don't want to see you like that again. If you're going to get your revenge, I'd love to see you take it, but I don't want to see that again.
I understand. I'll do my best not to kick it this time.
As long as you understand, I guess I don't have to tell your dad on you.
I'd rather you not. Just break character a little bit.
I'd love to meet him. When are we going? Now?
Preparations seem to be ready.
Well then, shall we?
Hmm?
You bring Ryan to the tree. Upon doing so, you find that Nuan is somewhat doing some meditation. You guys also look across the way toward where the palace is, as you just see Akira concentrating super hard, staring at the tree.
throwing javelins in the air. Electrocuting himself.
He's working.
We're trying to meditate, and all we hear in the background is like electric zaps, and then after we hear the zap, we hear.
He'll get it. We've already figured that out. He'll get it by the end of the week.
And there's just 100 spears. You just see 100 spears. Like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, like as you guys get over here, there's just a line of spears.
He's like
on the
waving
ground.
his arms as if his arms are like parents or something. He's like waving his arms like he's hot, just fucking smoking.
Why do you have 100? Because
Wasn't like
I want to be
5?
cool, Dad.
Just pick them up and fucking use them again. Recycle, dude.
You find
I gotta go
yourself
all the way.
You find yourself surrounding the tree. As you do, Nuan meditates downward, followed by Ryan and your mother, and yourself and Ro get yourself into a position as well. As each of you sit along the area, it does not take long at all, especially in the one hot spot of spiritual energy in all of Ba Sing Se, before your consciousness begins to somewhat fade, and you find yourself you find yourself surrounded by the coldness of the air inside the spirit world. You open your eyes to find that you are back at the tree, the same tree that every time Nuan meditates, they find themselves over to. You wonder for a moment whether or not meditating with other Nuan or Yuki or somebody would bring you somewhere different, but probably not. Who knows?
I think Yuki brought us... No, where did Yuki bring us last time?
When it came to the only time you guys used Yuki, you guys were using Yuki at a place.
We went to go see Fire Rayquaza.
Yeah. You were using it at a specific place, and it brought you to that place. Brought you to the Dragon's Trial.
That was fair.
Who knows? Maybe it would take you like to a mountain or something, like the Ona's place or something. Who knows?
I have no idea.
But the 4 of you would awaken inside of the spirit world. Nuon would awaken last, as the other 4 of you would stir and stand. As Nuon looks about, she steps forward, looking around. You said that you had brought something of his, right?
That's right. So I fucking hold the kunai chain in my hand.
Kunai with chain.
Stop it. Stop, Joey Wheeler.
I didn't know Joey Wheeler was your
Yu-Gi-Oh is
dad.
on Sundays.
I didn't know Joey Wheeler was your dad.
No, that's his cousin, Jesse Wheeler.
Try harder next time.
Yeah, dude, I fucking get over there. Sorry, Dad, I didn't beat him. Try harder next time.
Try harder next time. Is me, leader of the Aikawas. Wheela Aikawa.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, you bring out the kunai with chain.
He's Joe E.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
As you bring the kunai with chain out, you show it off over toward where the others are. Nuon checks it out for a moment before holding on to it. How do you use this thing?
To be fair, I don't know if I'm using it properly myself, but
I don't think there is a way to actually use that properly, your mom says. I kept trying to get him to stop worrying about it, but he insisted it would be a great fighting style one day.
it seems to be quite effective against Ishin, at least.
Oh yeah?
Although I think he's rather tired of seeing me.
Maybe it's a good anti-us weapon then. I'll have to get
Wait, we have to lock the forbidden weapon.
We'll have to get
We
some
need to
made.
lock this away.
Go after any deserters.
Oh my god. The comp counters itself.
As Nuon takes the kunai chain, they hold on to it. They begin to once again set themselves in meditation. You guys would note that Nuon's hair would begin to glow, as well as Ro's eyes as they curl up around them. Upon doing so, Ro lifts his head up as Nuon immediately goes into a deep meditation. Ro turns his head along with everything until finally motioning off toward the south. I believe your father is down in that direction, across from a large ravine giving itself a unnatural fog. You will find that it will be difficult to maintain your way there upon this floating rock in the spirit world. But the 3 of you may have enough physical prowess to maneuver yourself around. Do not get lost without myself or the Avatar around you. If you do, it would remain very difficult to get you back.
Oh, I didn't know we had to fucking travel to Mount Doom to get my dad. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. Hopscotch, here we go.
I gotta go to Mount Dad.
Mount Dad. Gotta play hopscotch to get to Mount Dad.
The 3 of you would maneuver your way down toward the south. You guys know that as far as Nuon's little section here is concerned, she has a tiny little forest with a tiny little with a tree and a bunch of other things around. There's a little portal over there that takes you back to the real world. Look at that little portal. We love it.
But not technically. It kind of like separates you. Weird.
Yeah, it's like your spirit goes back, but you know, whatever. Find your body, I guess. But you do find that as you go down to the south, there is a cutoff as far as this floating island is concerned. You would expect that Nuon had enough room up here in the years she spent here in the spirit world. At the same time, though, man, no normal person could make their way down these stones to the area below. whenever you look back to Ryan and your mom, both Ryan and your mom already jump down towards some of the stones, finding it very, very easily to be traversed by the more advanced traversal techniques of a ninja.
And I did teach the little girl fucking ninja tactics.
Yeah, now
she'll
now
figure it
she
out.
can. Now she's fine.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like before they met you, whenever they lived here,
I just stayed in this one area.
they did.
Got very familiar with it.
They had to stay in this like one little like kind of acre of land. But as you would find yourself off, eventually jumping down the stones that are floating between this area and the land that is below it, which you hesitate to call the ground, because who knows, maybe you have to go further down even then. But it is lower than where you were, not floating, at least to your own knowledge, seemingly bigger. As you would traverse throughout this place, I would like for you to please give me give me a insight.
Insight?
Mm-hmm.
That's a +2. I got this White Lotus thing, but I should probably keep it for when I have to kick.
Speaking of White Lotus things, you just reminded me.
What's up?
A couple of weeks ago, and by weeks ago I mean last Friday, we had a stream, and during that stream, I was able to have people donate toward the blank scroll funds for all the different games, and if they got them through, there was also going to be a reward for whichever game had their blank scroll funds fixed, and Avatar was one of the ones that got their blank scroll funds done, which means I'm going to be giving 2 tokens to everybody. 2 little guidance tokens to everybody.
Well, how about that? Now I have 3. Wowzers.
There you go. There's your 2. Here is Rue's 2. Here is Luca's 2. No, Luca, you only get 2. You can't have 3.
But I want 3, said Luca as she screamed. as Luca opened her mouth really wide and screamed.
Here is Jen's 2.
That joke's never gonna get old.
Here is Squeaky's 2. And here is Nightshade's 2. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. I'll put them right there with your other one that you have there. So, that being said, go ahead and give me that instinct roll.
Is Magician +1 my roll because it's not a modifier?
It does have a modifier because we're asking insight.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was confused.
Yeah, the Magician only works for like luck rolls, with things that I don't tell you to like put a thing into.
18 + 2 is 20.
You were able to traverse yourself decently well throughout this place. Maybe it's because you've been here a couple of times at this point. Maybe it's because you and Ryan sort of went off toward different things last time you were here and found a spirit of the dead. Maybe it's just good luck and good eyes. But you do find that as you move through this place, you do find a large chasm in front of you. This large chasm seems to have a humongous thing of smoke throughout the area, rising up and out of the ravine, going not only around the forest throughout the place, but as soon as you start stepping closer to it, you do note that there is a thin layer of fog or smoke that seemingly is just along the ground as you walk through. Every time you take a step, you're kicking up a little bit more of that same smoke or, again, fog as you move through it. Stepping further and further toward where the ravine is, you were told that they are on the other side of a large ravine. You could take a long walk throughout the side of this to try to get to the other side that way. You could attempt to go through the smoke and hope for the best to get to the other side, or you could just turn back. What would you like to do? Try to walk around, try to go through, or try to turn back?
I don't know if Ichibe is smart enough, and I feel like he would be because he's been through this enough, to just assume that the way the spirit world works is one way or another. If it wants me to do something, it's going to make me do it unless I turn back. So I doubt that walking around is going to have the positive effects that I'm wanting it to, which is I don't have to do shit. I just get to the other side. We can attempt it, but I think I assume what's going to happen is if we try to I just hit my toe. If we attempt to try and see, the spirit world's already fighting back. If we try to walk around it, something bad's probably going to happen. My toe hurts now. Damn. If the fog is the spirit world's way of trying to give me a test to get to my dad, then I probably should comply to the fucking test. Because I have a feeling that what's going to happen is if I walk around it, we're just going to slip and fall in.
Maybe.
Or some nonsense like that. We could guinea pig somebody. Ryan, try and walk around it. She falls in. Nah.
So you would like to go into the ravine?
How long of a walk is it to get around it?
It is a very long ravine. Looking off to either side, you can't really see an end. But probably eventually there's some kind of end to it.
Jeez. I mean, Ko said not to get. I mean, not Ko. Fucking Ro. They're really close names. They said just don't get lost and you'll be fine. So just not get lost.
Okay. So you'd like to go forward? Or
Yeah.
around? Forward. Okay.
I'll go forward. Last time we jumped into a ravine, we got to where we needed to get to. We just fell into the place we needed to be. It was weird. It was like 4-dimensional.
As the three of you would approach the ravine, you guys find yourselves stepping off, and as soon as you would step off onto where the smoke and the cloudiness of the ravine would be, you guys would feel not a swift fall or anything like that, but you would find that as soon as you put any sort of weight down on top of the fog, it does seem to slightly start to feel as if you are sinking into it. I'd like to know, as you do find that there is some purchase upon stepping onto the fog here. You don't immediately sink. Would you like to try to run across the fog, or would you like to sink into the fog?
I mean, if I can walk across it, then I might as well try and walk across it.
You want to try to walk across it?
I don't think I have enough time to walk across it, is what you're saying. So I should try to run.
I'm just asking. I'm not. Sometimes I ask questions. I've been known to do that.
It's fair. It's just the way that you were questioning my answer is like, oh boy, I guess. Well, I'm not medding. Huh. Ichibe's initial resolve was like, well, this is a trial. I guess I'm going through it. But like, if I'm just like sinking, that almost feels like a trial to me. Like I'm just supposed to get to the other side before I sink. I can't make the joke I want to make because we're on stream and we're live, and that's a really. It's not a bad joke, but I just don't think it's an appropriate joke for stream.
I hear you. Look at all this fog. Woo.
Wow. Some amazing effects that this tabletop scene.
So great, so good.
Let's get right over there,
All
let's
right.
just get right over there.
So are you
Easy.
walking or running?
Yes, I guess we're running.
All right.
Run.
I would like for the three of you to roll me for some reflex.
Okay. And that's a pretty good stat. That is a pretty good stat.
And while you start running, let me get some more appropriate music on.
Why you change the music? I got one White Lotus. Maybe I should use a White Lotus. Yeah, you know, if this is how it's gonna be, I might as well. Okay, I'll use one for this reflex. Yeah, it's a good thing I used that. Okay, so 2 was the first roll. $16 plus
good.
5 is 21.
All right, let me roll for the other 2. Just gonna take a couple of dice here from you. There we go. All right. Whoop. We'll just do it like this. We'll change their colors very slightly. There we are. All right. Left is Ryan, right is Mom. The 2 of them run off with you. You will note that as you start sprinting across, you do find that the more you guys go forward, the less purchase you find upon making your steps. As you step forward a couple of paces, you do find that as soon as you put your foot down into a piece of it, that the clouds and the fog beneath almost seems to immediately give away. You push down a lot of your weight into one of your legs, and you nearly trip and fall down. However, you are able to keep yourself up, as are the other 2. You're about halfway across the fog at this point.
Okay.
Roll me for another.
Okay. Oh, thanks, Walter. I'm not going to use a White Lotus this time.
Okay. You have
Okay, that's
fleeting,
9
so-
for 1.
And I'll roll these 2 as well.
Okay, so the 9 plus 5, that's a 14 for me.
You find that as you begin making your way through, you do find that you and Ryan seem to have a little bit of trouble as you guys step forward. You actually find yourself, upon stepping in, you almost sink down altogether, but you are able to quickly get yourself back up by grabbing up onto a place where you had stood before and swinging yourself back up. As you completely find yourself getting engulfed by the fog, for a moment you look forward and you realize you have taken negative progress.
The fuck?
Both you and Ryan, upon coming out from where you almost fell into the smoke, rise up at about 20 feet behind where you were before.
Damn.
As this happens, you look down as the fog below you seems to be spreading out, as if the fog itself is finally rolling out, leaving less and less fog below you, meaning that you are falling a lot faster than you were before.
Holy shit.
Look at all that
Lord.
less fog that's here.
Good effects.
As your mother looks back towards you, she yells to the two of you, "Come on, keep up!"
Yeah, get it, Mom. I'm going. I'm trying.
Go for it again.
Mm-hmm.
Another reflex. You have a fleeting as well. Luckily.
This is 6. Yeah, luckily. God damn. Thanks, Walter. Jesus Christ.
Ooh. Let's roll for the 2 of them. Oh.
Some 11 was my hachi. Okay, we're all having some troubles right now.
As your mom almost gets to the edge, you note that she seems to fall through almost completely for a moment. As she does, you step forward yourself. You seem to nearly fall through. Same thing with Ryan. As all of you disappear, you end up about 15 feet behind where you were. You look back as you find that you are closer to the edge you left than you are toward anything. And again, once more, the fog seems to lift very slightly. You feel like within a couple of rounds, this fog will be completely gone. And you guys will be falling into the ravine. I want to know, do you want to continue trying to cross this way? You did really good your first roll.
Yeah, like honestly, we did. And now we're shitting instead of hitting. So we got to start hitting instead of shitting. If we've got 2 more attempts, honestly, the benefit of failure is that we can pretty much jump out if we need to, because we'll be so close to the beginning that like. Yeah, I just want to continue. All
right, roll me another reflex. And I'll roll these 2 as well.
I'll put in a white. Get in 2 of these.
Hey.
7. God damn, dude.
You find that as you go forward, both your mother and Ryan almost get a little bit further ahead than you. You find that you are slightly behind Ryan. You almost fall through once again as you find yourself about 5 feet behind where you had fell before. You're near the middle. Ryan seems to be at the middle. Your mother, with that last spurt, seems to have made it to the other side of the ravine.
That's good. That's a good thing.
As she looks back toward the 2 of you. Come on,
she doesn't have the Lotus.
Hard.
She doesn't have those tokens. That's good. She needs those. She needs to kick ass. I need to start kicking ass.
As your mother looks back towards you and Ryan, she yells back words of encouragement, and by that I mean she tells you it's not that hard. Get going.
Yeah, come on, step it up.
2 of you need to roll.
Okay. Put in another Lotus.
Ooh.
Not 20.
You find, as you go forward, you rush across as much as you can. Before you go all the way, I want you to roll me for your diligence, please.
Okay. That's a 10.
It is not less than a 10, so that's okay. As you look back, you do note that you could get almost to the end right now, but then you see Ryan about to fall. If Ryan falls here, they will only have one. They will only have probably 1 turn to get going forward.
I got her.
You want to try to get her?
Yeah, I got her.
All right.
I got a kunai with chain. That's fine.
You don't have a kunai with chain. You gave that over to.
Oh yeah, I gave that over to. I don't have shit to fucking pull you out.
Roll me
now
for,
we got this.
Roll me for physique. As you go to stop Ryan from falling in. You have 1 fleeting. And Walter has given all of his fleetings for the day.
That is 17.
You reach down.
And then no, I'll try the other one.
Oh, right.
Fleeting.
Right.
Okay, so I'll take the 17.
You sure?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
You reach down and you grab Ryan. You stop them from losing any progress. The 2 of you are almost at the end. You just need a decent roll. However, looking behind you, you note that there is not a lot of fog anymore.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll be okay. Everything's fine. You're gonna be fine. Good. Okay.
All right. Give me 1 more reflex check.
Yeah, thanks for the help, Walter. Oh, jeez. Oh, fuck me.
All right.
Not 20, right? Not 20.
Ryan with the 11, you with the 3. As Ryan and you go forward, you find that as soon as you get near toward the edge of the fog, you step down into what you believe would be solid fog, but at that point,
That sounds like an oxymoron.
it disappears beneath your feet. Ryan reaches down to go to grab you. But unfortunately, they didn't nat 20, so they don't get the chance to. As they had already jumped, they reach back towards you. You reach to them. Man, if only I had a kunai with some kind of a chain on it.
I should have grabbed it back after Nuwan was like, "Oh, I found." Ro was like, "Oh, I found him." It's like, okay, bitch, and take the kunai back.
As you reach out toward them, you guys touch the tips of your fingertips together.
That's very anime.
Ryan tries to reach back towards you. Your mother grabbing onto Ryan's arm as she's about to fall in after you. Ichibe,
Yep.
you fall.
Oh boy. That's not good.
As Ichibe falls all the way down. The sound of speeding air around you as you look down. The rocks at the bottom of the ravine coming fast and quick, quick and fast, very quick, very fast,
Like a ninja.
like a ninja, jumping everywhere. The rocks are like jumping back and forth, going wah! Impact is about to happen. As soon as you hit the ground, you find yourself surrounded entirely on all sides by fog. That amazing fog. It's so great.
So good.
As you land, the fog around you seems to completely obscure everything above you, below you, to the sides of you. You can still hear some sounds about at the bottom of the ravine. Whenever you were falling, you could see that there was some kind of a stream going through. However, other than the sound of the running water, nothing else is coming to you. No calls from up above. What would you like to do?
Do I at least know where the wall is?
When you were falling, you were about 15 or so feet away from it.
Do I know which direction that is?
Yeah, it's off like over like, I don't know, over there, maybe.
I will reach out for it. I'll attempt to find the wall in that direction.
Had to get rid of the fog. One moment.
Okay.
Just...
Yeah, bring the fog back. It's necessary.
It's
Yes,
very
it's
necessary.
yeah. That fog. Thank you.
You start making your way off about 15 feet, about 20 feet, about 30 feet.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
About 40 feet. No wall comes into your feeling, and the sound of the creek doesn't seem to have gotten any further away or closer.
There's no noise.
Other than the sound of the creek, no.
I'm going to attempt. When I say attempt, I mean attempt to walk in what I think is a circle about 20 feet wide.
Okay. You do so?
And see if my depth perception of sound changes in any way.
It does not seem to.
Oh, I'm stuck in purgatory. Oh fuck. So logic dictates that I'll eventually find something if I keep walking in one straight line. Well, we'll try 3 or 4 minutes of that and see what happens.
You never reach any sort of anything. The creek stays the same distance, at least as far as the sound is concerned, and you never hit a wall.
How about that shit?
Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I can't use my bending in here because I'm not a well, I'm a bender, but I'm not like
You're not a snow leopard.
everybody who bends in here isn't allowed to bend in here unless they're an actual spirit. There's no point in doing that. I got one guy I can potentially talk to.
You do, technically. You want to try to talk to him?
Yeah, I can give him a little try. In fact, I was actually gonna try something later. But I don't know if it'll work now. Probably won't. I'm stuck in the funny fog, so probably not.
Or funny fog.
Goddamn funny fog.
What would you like to do?
Are you there, Co?
You get no response. You reach down to to your side where Ko's mask would be. You don't feel it.
Don't feel anything.
You feel your clothes.
Oh, that's fair. That would imply that I've... I don't know what it implies. I don't know enough about the spirit world to understand this. Am I still in the same area as everyone else?
As you say that, you look about, trying to see if there's anything that could possibly give you any kind of direction or any sort of hint as to what you could potentially do. Roll me for your diligence once again.
Okay. It's a 16 plus 2 is 18. Oh, I have a fleeting. Should I use that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'll take the 16. That's an 18.
Okay. As you look around, you do find, upon looking, there is a slight thing of movement that seems to occur in front of you. For a moment,
Yes.
you see something as if something moved in front of you. Whether they were watching you or whether they were just doing their own thing, maybe they're also lost in here. You saw a bit of movement go by you.
Is someone down here with me?
As you say that, Who's asking?
I'm not meant to be here. And if I'm intruding upon your domain, then I wish to not intrude upon it.
My domain? No. You are new to the Sea of Souls, then?
If that is the name of this place, then yes, I have never been here before.
What you see around you is a place where lost or forgotten make their way in the spirit world. Ones who are beyond help. Ones who find themselves wandering. Some sort of purpose they cannot let go of. Ichibe Aikawa, right?
And why would you know that name?
We've met. Be it some time ago. Though, I suppose for you it might have been less. You don't look a day older than the last time I saw you, that's for sure.
Oh. I suppose the spirit world has different times from the real world. Does he sound familiar? Because I think I know who it is, but Ichibei probably doesn't. Maybe he does.
Who do you think it is?
Is it the fucking Oni? He did fall into a ravine when I last saw him.
As Ichibei, you would look forward. You would find that the mask, a very familiar looking mask that you would have seen before, though the person that was there does not sound amazingly similar to the one you had last seen.
It's dad-in-law.
You do find that as soon as you even have the inkling of who could be in front of you, the white mask on the silhouette seems to show itself. It has been quite a while. You said this was my domain, but I suppose you could think of me less as one who would find themselves tied to this place and more a ferryman of sorts.
You imply that you act as a guide for the souls that are lost here?
That is what I agreed to whenever I had taken in the agreement of my mask. The demon who I serve. I serve for most of the remaining time that I would have. The Sea of Souls, unfortunately, similar to you, sometimes finds the innocent among their numbers. And I do my best to help them realize where they are and what they are doing, getting them across as quickly and as swiftly that I can allow. But that is entirely up to you. That being said, you are one who has my power, Aikawa.
You did give me a funny horn.
If you were just pointed in the correct direction, perhaps you can meet back up with those you had came here with.
If you're willing to help me, then I'm in your gratitude. If not, then just tell me what I need to do. Then I'll be on my way.
I know the Aikawa training. It was somewhat inspirational to my own. When I was young, I would always keep the lessons of survival that the Aikawa clan seemed to press themselves with in the forefront of my mind. While this is a world of complete and utter rule betrayal, there are certain things that would allow for someone to survive in such places, keeping their wits about them, listening for clues, and following the high ground.
Obi-Wan.
Are those not teachings that the Aikawa mostly keep themselves for? Survive, strike fast from above. Those are what you pride yourself on, correct?
Think so?
Then
You
I
are
ask
correct. Yeah.
which direction would that be?
I need to go up. Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
Up. Do the Aikawa have some sort of wings I can't see?
Oh, I got confused because you were talking strike from above. Wait, you're talking about...
Keep your wits about you, Aikawa. Listen, move, survive. Those are the hints I can get you to leave the Sea of Souls. Now, which direction should you go?
I'm gonna close my eyes for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna do what he says. I'm gonna listen.
You still sense that there's a person in front of you, even if you close your eyes, since you have become aware of their presence.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that you can hear upon listening as hard as you can is the sound of the creek flowing.
I will
No.
attempt to follow the creek.
You want to follow the creek?
I don't fucking know. It's the only thing I hear.
Roll me survival.
I can't hear Cliff.
Roll me survival. Let's see if I can give you some kind of a hint.
Okay. (13 + 5 is 18).
If you need to follow something, that means you have one of two directions to go. Now, which direction correlates with what else he said to you?
He said see, move, and survive.
Mm-hmm. He said keep in mind your training, the kind of training the Aikawa usually do.
Yeah, which is strike quick when you're on the high ground.
Mm-hmm. So where should you go?
I gotta get back up to where they are.
Mm-hmm. And how is the best way to do that?
Climbing the wall.
Well, if there's no wall.
Finding the wall. Making stairs.
Fortniting my way up.
Number 1 victory royale. Let's see.
There are two directions.
Yeah.
Which direction do you go as you listen to this creek?
Hmm.
If you have
Do
any
I
other
follow
questions,
the
you can ask
creek?
me.
I go with the flow?
How does
There are two
water
to
flow?
in one direction. Well, it can flow in all directions, but in a creek, it's one direction.
And why does it flow in that direction?
Because that's the force of nature.
Mm.
So you just saying that I gotta go my own way?
Okay, what are the two directions you can go? If the only thing that you have in your mind is the creek.
I can go to the creek or away from the creek. That's my that's my assumption.
Do you go
I can either
with
make
do you
creek
go with the flow or against the
Oh,
flow?
against the flow. Ah, haha, big funny.
Do you want to go against the flow or with the flow?
Well, if I go with the flow, that's the sea going in one direction. I don't want to go with them because then I'm going to heaven, I guess. So I want to go against the flow.
All right.
That makes sense.
As you keep your eyes closed, you start making your way away from where the creek sounds are going. You start going away from the flow of the creek.
I got some final words for him.
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, okay, cool.
He seems to
He's just
still be with
hovering over
He seems
me?
to still be with you, even no matter how far you move.
He's like, haha, what a funny man.
As you move your way going against the creek, you feel that you are going toward an incline. You feel like you are going further up because the creek will be flowing down. As you go up and up, following after the creek, you feel that that the fog around you is somewhat lifting. You said you had some words?
Yeah. I came back here in search of my father. To think that I would find my father-in-law instead.
Huh.
I am in your debt. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I have spoken with him a couple of times since being here.
That's cool.
For me, the time that I have been here has been long. To hear that you would still think as such would make me think that Ryan is doing okay.
She is. Although a great battle may be upon us soon. I think that she is... I made a mistake. I let my emotions get the better of me. And in doing so, I made a deal. I didn't care what it cost. You were very close to seeing me sooner than now. But I would have been ferried away if I really was trapped in this sea of souls. I don't think that made anyone happy. But I wasn't happy at the time. I seek the person that killed my father, and I found them.
When I was alive, I was far too old for many thoughts of revenge and things of that. But that is something that is usually reserved for the youth to make their way forward, to give them a drive to go on. I cannot tell you if it was a bad idea or not. What I can say is that it was your plan. Did it work?
No.
then perhaps you should figure out one that will. I stay here in the Sea of Souls because I wish to make sure that the debt that is given to the Oni by following after the demon, the Reaper who we gave ourselves to, I wish to pay off that debt for all of them. And that is my decision. That way, when they finally pass their way to the spirit world, they can do as they wish. They would not like it. They have no way of stopping me now. But they would not like it. But it was something that I had chose to do. As long as you understand where you sit, Aikawa, I am sure that whatever decision you make, as long as you see it through to the end, will be one that has their interest best in mind. If you wish to be remembered, if you wish to make sure that they are safe, then do anything that you can. But always keep an eye out for a better way. As you just saw here, sometimes giving yourself a moment to think can open up a completely new possibility. Speak with your father. Let him give you whatever he wishes to. And hopefully, between the four of you, you will come up with something. And if you don't, make sure next time you make a deal with that demon of yours, that it is the last one you need to make, and your revenge is taken care of. Then perhaps you can help me here.
There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people. It's so much.
There's
like,
a lot of work.
I didn't expect it was that much. He said it was going to be like all of them, but I really didn't understand what that meant.
This place only fogs over like this whenever there is turmoil happening in the real world. Normally it is not nearly as thick as you see here. The only ones who would see it as such are ones who belong here. Ones who, again, are lost and have no way of finding themselves. The only ones you would usually see here are the absolute bottom dwellers, or the ones who accidentally find themselves here, such as yourself. I feel that I should know if you succeed. Perhaps I will see some new additions here, or perhaps whenever I see you again, you can just let me know. If you ever wish to speak with me, the same thing for Ryan. Find the fog, and I will attempt to answer.
Thank you very much for your time. I'll give a bow and...
As soon as you bow, you look back toward where he is, as you see that he is standing along the smoke of this place. You find yourself standing outside of it as he looks to you, you see the mask give a wide smile on his face.
That's great.
As the white masked Oni begins to back his way into the fog.
I will not repeat my mistakes.
Until we next, Daikawa. I trust you to do what is right. He fades away.
Goodbye.
You find yourself as you stand looking toward the fog seems to recede away. And as it recedes away, you are looking back toward where you were looking as you are looking toward the cliff. You find you find that somehow you have rose yourself up about several hundred feet.
That worked out.
As both Ryan and your mother seem to be just a little bit further off from you. As soon as you appear and the fog recedes, you see that Ryan makes their way over and looks off. You have to work on that. You weren't fast enough.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't really think about how the footing of smoke and fog would be, and I suppose that caught me a little off guard.
I'll forgive you this time. Oh, that's really freaking on. Let's go with oh right, we're in the Agni Kai playlist. That's why. Let's go for this one. There we go. Perfect. As you look over, Ryan seems to be staring off toward the fog as it recedes. Did you see him again?
I did.
He didn't say anything embarrassing this time, did he?
No, you don't need to worry.
Do I gotta go in there and give him a piece of my mind? What, I just have to drop in, right?
It's a bit more to it than that, but if you do wish to see him again, you just said to follow the fog.
I doubt that there's anything I can tell him that you didn't tell him in the past 2 hours.
It's 2 hours? Holy fuck.
Yeah, you were gone for a while.
Damn. Sorry.
Oh, don't say sorry to me, but you should probably say sorry to them. You point back.
You gotta look at them.
As you see 2 people behind you.
Well, how about that?
You see Wheeler Aikawas.
God fucking damn it, dude.
I didn't name him that. Someone else did. It wasn't me.
You're welcome.
As you see what appears to be a visage of your father standing behind you, as well as a dog that immediately dies because I'm going to kill it.
I mean, it's already dead, technically, because it's here.
No, actually, your father starts barking.
Oh god, your father starts barking at you. It's too late.
I hit them so hard that they turned into dogs.
After a little bit of time passes, you see that your mother walks over towards you. Upon walking to you, you see that there is a bit of a, not desperation, but a bit of a something.
Stop fucking dying.
A bit of a something in her face as she walks away from your father. It's if, again, they've been here for around an hour or so. They don't look like they want to leave, but they do step further beyond you, put a hand on your shoulder, and just kind of like walk by. I'll go find those rocks. I think I'm about done here.
Okay.
Just letting you know, he isn't the best. He isn't the easiest one to convince. I'll leave the rest to you.
Okay.
As she steps away, You see that she goes over, kind of grabs onto Ryan's hand, leads herself and Ryan away. As they step off, you see your father just standing there looking towards you.
Well, you had about 2 hours. How many embarrassing stories did you tell her about me?
There are not many that come to mind. Though, I was able to say a couple of the more interesting of your baby stories. Such as whenever your mother found you sneaking into the warehouse covered in flour.
I was trying to be a ghost. I was trying to be a ghost.
Seems you almost accomplished that today. It's good to
It
see
just
you,
means-
Ichibei.
Yeah. Hi, Dad.
I'm sorry that things changed as much as they did while you were gone.
I'm sorry I wasn't around to change anything that changed.
Are you kidding? If you were here, then you and your mother would have stopped at nothing to go after that man. And while that is the case that you would most likely have tracked him down, and I'm sure that between the two of you, you would have done something, one of you would have probably also gotten more hurt. I don't want to see either of you here that quick.
That person. He has some sort of connection between you and Mom and the previous Avatar. I have seen them.
He was a member of the Black Rings. Back whenever that meant anything. Whenever me and your mother were, well, whenever we were loyal to the Avatar. I don't know much about him, but I do know that he was brought over by the Sun Tribes just briefly before the fall of the previous Avatar. Whenever he was to be imprisoned, I actually worked a lot of strings to make sure that he would be imprisoned near where I was, so I could keep an eye on him. I suppose my hubris led to my own downfall. I didn't expect him to be able to do nearly anything as he did, though. That is mostly because I did not truly know that man before everything fell apart with the organization. Your mother told me that you know that we were not truly the ones who brought you into this world.
That's bound to happen when you're on a mission to try and find the Avatar.
I was hoping that you would learn quite a lot on your journey. It seems that you did. We could only keep you away from them for so long. And whenever they asked for an Aikawa to begin looking for the new Avatar, I felt that you could do it. My biggest regret is that Before you left, I wasn't able to let you know just how important your journey would be. They've told me much of your exploits. You have become the equivalent of one of the Oni, correct?
Myself and the group that I travel with. We are the reason the ferryman is who he is. And you've already met another one.
Yes. Though...
He seems to approve, at least.
That man, the one who ferries souls over by the ravine, he is a legend among those who keep themselves to the darkness. One that really lives up to the idea that the Oni are untouchable. But, as you have proven, given the right motivation and the right training, one could quickly rise themselves to the same level. You even reattained your bending.
Yeah, it only took, pretty drastic measures, I guess. It wasn't my intent, but now that I have it, there's a lot to learn.
In a short amount of time to do so.
A week at best.
After a week, you are going to be making your way and fighting that sunbender then?
I won't make the same mistake again.
Good, because he will be stronger than whenever I fought him. From what they had told me of your last encounter with him, I don't know why he was at the bottom of that water, or what exactly they were doing with all of those people there, but you can assume that it was nothing good. The man you will go to fight will be far superior to the one that killed me.
I can make some guesses. Based on what I've heard, the ritual performed was maybe to gain an heightened power of near immortality from the sounds of it. At least that's what it seemed to imply for the previous avatar.
They lacked a good enough vessel for the previous avatar's resurrection. And by the time he had not wanted to continue with the research, they had gone far beyond what he had thought. When we hid you away, we did so because the one thing they would need was someone connected with the previous avatar. Whether it be one of the other kids or one of his flesh like you or your older brother.
That's so fucked up, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, why do you think we took you away? He's around our group. He has been for a while. We just didn't realize it. I don't know what he's capable of doing in his state, but he seems to imply not much. That he won't be available for much longer in general. I think his time has come. And I think that the remaining chances he had of coming back, he gave to me. I don't really understand why. I've heard it took some convincing, and I have my friends to thank for that, but he could have refused.
That's surprising. Whenever we were following him, that man was completely self-centered. He had already given up on the world. Whenever it caused him to have that change of heart, I'm glad he did. Ichibe. I want you to do me one favor. Make sure.
Okay.
Make sure that whenever you find him, make sure nothing else happens to your mother. She will do whatever it takes to get revenge. Same as you.
It's like, Dad, I wasn't. Do you think I was any different?
She was the one that raised you, after all. Of course, you have some bit of that fiery temper in you as well.
It goes without saying that when it comes down to it, I'd rather not have her around during the final encounter. But that is her decision. She is a leader of her own people. Pimple.
Then, do what you can.
I won't let anyone else get hurt.
You see him look to you. As he does, he brings himself closer towards you. And you see him start undoing the belt that is keeping his robes together.
Okay.
He takes off the golden trimmed robe that he's wearing. And he hands it over towards you.
And you already gave me, well, technically, Mom gave me your kunai with chain, but I mean...
Take it.
I'll accept it, yeah.
As you take it, he, for a moment, helps you put it on. There is a moment that I wish that I would never have missed, and I'm glad that I didn't. I wanted to see you take on the mantle of the leader of the Aikawa.
Dad?
I know. I've already spoken to her.
You understand that should Nuon succeed and start to bring balance to our land, there may not be a need for our clan.
There will always be something in this world. It is the duty of the Aikawa to always be prepared for a time after Nuon for a time after the next avatar, for a time beyond even there. We all need to be sure. The Aikawa clan has always been a people who have been formed as people who would find themselves Fire Nation representatives, but mostly those who are loyal to the Avatar. Know this, Ichibe. Even once you are done, Yuan will not be at the end of her trials. It is up to you where you wish to steer the Aikawa after this. Whether they will disperse, continue forward, or something else entirely. If you truly believe that there is no more use of us, then I will leave that to you, as I'm leaving everything else.
As I'm currently dead and can't change your mind.
Oh, I can. Yeah, I'm playing.
Final boss.
Grabs your temple and frickin' uses ninjutsu. I'm playing.
I will do my best, as I always have.
Now, if your mother asks, I definitely tried to stop you from going into the desert.
Is that what she's talking about?
I tried to get her to give up on her revenge.
So I see that we are of one mind then. I don't want her to go, and she doesn't want me to go. Jeez.
She was the one that raised you, as I said. We may not be who brought you into here, but your mother and I, we will always consider you our son. That will never change.
Thanks, Dad.
When everything's said and done, come visit me again. It's one of the perks of being on Team Avatar.
I'd like that. That might actually be. I'll do my best, and we'll see you once everything's done.
He turns and looks as if he's about to start walking off.
Hey,
Yes.
yeah, no shit.
He stops.
Man. Don't know what else to say.
I love you too. He smiles.
It's just really good to see you, you know? I will see you again. And it won't be because I died or anything like that. It's because we completed our mission. I'll make you proud. Everything will be okay. Okay? Just sit tight till then.
I'm not going anywhere. I like your girlfriend. Starts walking away.
Proves good.
As he makes his way off, eventually you watch as he disappears, just fading from view as he gets far enough away from you. You eventually turn to make your way toward your mother and Ryan, who are currently looking off toward a not ravine.
Oh, that's good. Thanks, Ferryman.
As they're staring back just toward where the floating rocks are. Well, this
Excellent.
place is completely disorienting.
The spirit world was never made to make sense. If it did, I think we'd have better maps of it.
Oh, he did hand that over to you then. He does realize I'm actually wearing his actual one, right?
What is this supposed to mean then? This is bullshit. Walk back, Dad. What the fuck? Okay.
I do agree, though. If you want to wear it, it's yours.
You continue what you're doing. I think that you're a great fit for our clan. But maybe I'll think about it.
I can hold on to it for another week or so.
There you go.
Let you have our little vacation in the desert before you have to make any big decisions.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm gonna be the Hokage.
Ryan looks to you without really saying anything, just sort of like grabs your hand. You okay?
I think I'm better than I was before. It's just a lot on my mind.
Let's go home then. I'm not entirely sure how long we've been here, but I'd rather not keep Nuwan meditating without us.
I think no matter what, we're capable of getting back ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to make your way towards somewhere to do some meditate on. If you are in a place where you don't entirely know where you are, it'll be more difficult, but there's rocks right there to try to get up.
we at least got to get back to the tree.
Yeah. The three of you.
So let's go back to the tree.
The three of you would make your way going back up. It would be a lot less actually intensive than you would expect, jumping on top of rocks high up into the air. It seems almost as if this has been always the way to go, as you jump up onto them with hardly any sort of hardship, getting yourself all the way back up to the top and seeing a Nuwan just sort of sitting there with a dragon coiled around them. Upon bringing yourself back, Nuwan's eyes open. What's up?
How many spirit apples can we juice?
Currently, there doesn't appear to be any apples on the thing.
God fucking damn it. No. I gave my vial to clone me because I thought that was a cool anime moment. I never got to get fucking apple high.
Nuan's eyes open. You almost fell. You almost fell. Did you almost die?
No.
Are you?
I made it out just fine.
Mm.
With a little help, of course.
Try not to pass on while I'm here. I would feel really bad about that.
Don't you worry. Nothing's gonna happen to me before this is over.
Little flag appears above your head.
Oh boy.
Good.
Oh dear.
Then, are we making our way back then?
There's something that I still want to do while I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anybody else should be around for it. So, if I know that I can get myself back, then I am going to probably pretend while everybody else is getting in position and trying to go leave.
Okay. You definitely can do so. As the others would get into a position of readying themselves to go, you would find that you sit, and as you quote-unquote meditate, the others would vanish one by one. You crack your eye open to see that the others are gone.
They gone?
Yep.
Okay. Well, now that I'm out of the fog, have you been listening into my conversations, Ko?
Mostly. However, I was not able to hear you for quite a bit. Something seemed to have separated our two consciousnesses away from each other.
I suppose the Sea of Souls has a way of messing with spiritual connections. I couldn't say.
It is a domain of a powerful spirit, not like my own. Though, one thing I have noticed since coming here is that my own domain seems to be very scarce. I had heard from the young avatar that apparently my other self is somewhat faded. I don't entirely know what that means, to be fair. Though, I can hazard a couple of guesses. What is it that you need, partner?
Where are you at the moment?
I am where I always am. Right by your side. As he says that, you almost feel not a hand on your shoulder, but a weight go down on one of your shoulders. It almost feels like some kind of a hard, almost armor, like something leaned down onto you. But as you look over toward where you feel the feeling, it seems to disperse. You felt something hard on your shoulder, however, as he says that. Why is it you ask?
You owe me nothing. I could have been dead. I should have been dead. And yet you took yourself so much care to keep my body alive in time for them to revive me. For one who is in collection of people's faces and identities. Why wasn't I taken that day? Why do you do so much for me, but ask for so little in return?
I had mentioned to you before. There are certain limitations to myself in this form. However, when it comes to yourself, you are one of the blood of my sworn enemy, the Avatar. You are one who, when I first felt your power, when I first felt your presence among myself, I was excited. When you first gave in, and you first laid me across your face, I felt that I had won. However, something about you, something about your group, and perhaps something about my other self. I don't entirely understand it, but as a spirit, I am very weak. I had given myself a rather horrendous task, most likely before you ever saw the light of day. That task was to finally rid myself of my enemy. In doing so, I was nearly wiped out by the Avatar. I thought that if I got my revenge by taking away his flesh and blood, that I would be able to attain some sort of freedom or some sort of revenge. But ever since you had first put on me, back whenever you were having the issue with the challenge, when you had almost changed due to that other spirit, and once again, when you had used me to make your way through the mines and get out unscathed, and finally, whenever you had given no thought as to why or how I would do so, you placed me upon your enemy. I felt trust from you. So while you ask me why I do what I do, I would ask you, partner, why do you trust me?
Because despite your title, you have given me no reason not to at this time. I know what everyone has said about spirits. And whether good or bad, your reputation is a fierce one. You have said it yourself. You had the Avatar skank you out for a reason.
That other me, the one that didn't bind itself to you, the one that went to that other avatar, it did exactly what I would have done. It tried to take back what it needed. And whenever it most likely expended its energy to allow for that other Nuan to come back, they seemed very sure it was going to take them. Yet, look what has become of it.
It's big dumb.
I no longer even feel it. Somehow it was taken in by those black rings and destroyed or used. It was saying those strange things when you were fighting it, talking about how great Ba Sing Se was. There are many things I don't understand about your world, partner. And it feels that if you can trust anything that I say, I am not stupid. If I don't understand something, I'm not just going to go in blindly. I cannot promise you that our continued partnership will be a purely beneficial one to either of us. What I can promise you is that it has been mutually beneficial. I have obtained what I need, and you have even given me more than that, as you have allowed me to take in the faces of your enemies.
Yeah, that one time.
As long as we keep a mutual relationship, I am fine considering your debt paid by the time you draw your final breath. I'll allow you and your friends to keep your faces.
Considering the circumstances, I'll consider that an incredibly generous gift. I thank you.
It is, because I was originally going to use you to attain power again. But there's no rush.
One way or another, I'm gonna get there.
I'm not going to say that I'm going to have a pure change of heart. But for the moment, I like you. And that is honestly the only thing that I can say as to why I haven't done anything wrong by you. You have shown me every time and time again, that I can trust you. And I promise once you die, I'll leave your descendants alone.
Unlike that one bitch. This mask allows us to connect the way that we do. And though I understand it is not the true you.
Huh.
I can thank you this way if you'd like me to. But I can also thank you face to face, as proper respect, if you wish.
What you hold, Ichibe, what you hold is me. What's left of me.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that was disrespectful then, I'm sorry.
As I said, you are allowing me to steadily regain more power. This is what was left of me after I was defeated. So I thank you. I will also let you know you do not need the power of the Avatar to come to this place. You have a spirit right on your side.
I see. I suppose I'd never really crossed my mind. But you are right.
If you trust me, the next time you wish to come to a place like this, place me upon your face and meditate. And I promise, partner, I would never steal your face in that vulnerable position.
That doesn't make it sound any better. Finally, what an idiot! No. I will keep that in mind.
Shall we return? You have training to do you not?
Yes. Thank you.
Whenever you wish to return, place me upon your face.
Wait, to return to the spirit world or return home? Because I think I can meditate without placing you on my face.
You can meditate if you'd like.
Yeah, I think I can get. Wait, is he saying return home? Like trust him, put him
That's
put
up
him
to you.
on?
Who knows?
Is that what he's saying?
Who knows what he's saying? Who knows?
You imply right now, or are you saying to place you on my face when I want to come back to the spirit world?
Either.
Huh. That's good. I mean, we've talked a lot about trust, so I've got to trust him on this. So I should probably put the mask on and leave.
You fool! No.
You fucking idiot!
As soon as you put the mask upon your face, almost instantly, you wake up at the tree.
Awesome. Is the mask on my face at the tree, or is it off?
It is on your face at the tree.
Okay, I gotta take that off before people get really upset with me.
You see the three of them looking at you. You then must explain to them for the rest of the day as to why you, first off, didn't leave with them, but second off, why you were unconscious and then all of a sudden your mask floated up and went onto your face.
Yeah.
But I will say we'll be holding off on that.
Yeah. Do your thing.
For
do
the
your thing.
remainder
That was
of
way
the
too
remainder
long.
of the week, you will be training with your bending, trying to figure out anything you can. Currently, it is something that is somewhat beyond you to do a lot of stuff with, but maybe by the time you get to the desert, we can work something out. But you spend the rest of your week training. You also train with those around you. You have several things that were told to you by several people, including your father, as well as your potential kinda daddy-in-law. Who knows? As we go about things, man, that was a bit of things. That was a spirit world adventure.
Sorry, bro, that was long.
We will go to Melee if Squeaky is ready to think of anything they'd like to do for the week.
I was gonna say that since how long it's been and Phantom's here, we should probably go to Phantom, because like
in the end we have to get both of you done, so it does not matter to me.
No. I had some time last time, so you could go. Don't worry.
Oh.
In the end, we need to get both of you done, so it doesn't matter to me which one we do first. We have to get both of you settled before the end of the day. And we will most likely have to go a little bit longer because of how things are. So if obviously if Lindo ever needs to leave, he can. I feel really bad of that we don't have a big thing for everyone to do, but because we ended up having to end things last time where we were still going through people's stuff, it's kind of bled into this one, and yada yada. We'll fix things before too long. But
I just can't afford to go long either.
I understand. We'll try to get through as much as we can. Again, we have to deal with the fact that we only have kind of around 3-hour games now, and that several of us have times we have to go through and back and yada yada. But with that being said, Melee, what would you like to do for the remainder of your week? Would you like to contact anybody in particular? Would you like to go about going into anything, any kind of training or any kind of thing of that nature? What is going on? What is going on with them this week?
I don't really have much of anything. Really, aside from, I guess like like before the week started, it was still really, really fresh that the Karao kind of got their human form, so they're not used to it. At least she's assuming this.
They've had their human form for a bit at this point. They've had it for ever since you guys had left the mountain, which at this point would have been around a week of travel. So at the during this time, he would have been in the body for around a week and a half. That being said, you can figure anything out from that as you wish.
Oh, that throws a wrench in things. I don't really have much of anything because I don't think she would have been focusing on training, more so essentially like trying to help him like get used to like being in a more human body, not being in his like Karao form anymore, and maybe not being so much of a fucking grumpy pants. But
You want to test him out?
He will always be a grumpy pants. You can never stop him. You can never stop him from being grumpy pants. It's ingrained into his soul. But no, you could just spend time with him if you'd like.
Yeah, I kind of just don't. I really tried to think about it during the week, but I just don't really have anything. So like,
What was your plan with the corral?
I don't really have anything. I couldn't really think of anything that felt like interesting or
the way
really...
that I'll put this, and again I've put this the same out like outside of everything as well. All of you guys know, out of game at the very least, that this is most likely the last kind of section of the game where we can have, you know, movement about places, going through, because once you guys are in the desert, we're basically in the end game there. So anything you want to do as far as talking with other characters, talking with players, anything of that nature, any kind of just downtimey kind of things you want to do, now is the time to do them. So if you don't want to, if you can't think of anything, for example, for the Karao, going and hanging out with Yuki could be a thing. Going and figuring out what the hell is going on with that prisoner you guys had gotten would be a thing. You could make your way toward any of your teachers / any of your side like things. You could even talk with Dion Lee, since you know that he is most likely able to speak to people at this point. Since you know you hadn't talked to him since he abandoned you to your baba, you could attempt to try to figure anything out as far as the person you guys had originally talked with to do all of this in the first place. If you want to talk to Daolan, again, you could just speak with the Karao. If you don't have anything else you would like to do, you could always just spend some time with them. Duncan's around if you wanna try to speak with them about like, hey, yeah, so I moved on. This is my dragon friend, and by friend I mean we're married. This is my son. It is up to you. I mean, if you just can't think of anything, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Nothing's really like tugging at me in any direction, and like I
know it's
don't...
fine. You don't have to worry about giving any explanation for it.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's no problem at all.
I just kind of feel pressed for time too, so I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. That's why I tried whenever we first started doing things. I tried to make sure to be like, you know, think of things while we were doing the other one. But I do understand that there's not a lot around that interests you, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't feel pressured about anything. It's all good.
That being said, if you have nothing you want to do, we will go to Luca. As Luca, the last thing you had done was you had gone off with Rue to attempt to speak with the Avatar. Is there anything in particular you would like to do for your last week before we move on to preparing for the desert?
I don't believe so. Yeah, I was just planning to try to train that blood bending.
You could just train. Training is perfectly fine for the rest of the thing. So, currently, we've gone over everything. Rue and Luca had spoken with Dion Lee to attempt to get some waterbending training, but then was basically just told, train by yourself. Bah, I'm an avatar.
Which was sad.
We had Ichibei making his way through and speaking with some spirits, as well as training his earthbending. We had Akira training their lightning, going through and trying to get better at that, and then gaining some kind of a spiritual boom from Dion Lee. We had Jin taking over bossing Sei, trying his best to get things settled throughout everything. As everyone spends their time around each other, training, doing their things, you guys find that once the week is over, several things will happen at once. One of those things being Jin. After that first week comes through, you do find that Bola does return with the airbenders. I would like for you in particular, Jin, roll me a d6.
I don't fucking goddamn. All right. Oh.
They had brought with them 2 airbenders. Unfortunately, from what you hear from them after this, you hear from them that it was very difficult to find any of the airbenders that they would immediately trust, because upon them getting there, you guys would note that word had reached them of the Black Rings, the ones that had been around the northern town that you guys had freed before, and the fact that several of the people from there were people of the Northern Air Temple. A lot of them were not given a lot of them were not very trusted to come with you. So unfortunately, the only ones they could spare to come with you were the 2 that are here. Which means you guys do still have a decent amount of airbenders. However, you don't nearly have as many as you would have liked, Jin. Currently, in order to go with your sand surfing idea, you have. Let me find the last one. Where's he at? Where's the boy at? There he is, right over there. Where's my boy? Where's my lawn at? I can't find him. He died. He's dead somewhere.
Oh, yeah, you passed by him.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Lon, right?
Yeah, oh, there he is. There he is.
There he is.
Currently, it seems that out of the airbender side of things, you have Meili, you have Lon, you have Guru Kara, you have the 2 airbending nomads that brought with you, you have Tekal, you have Toa, and you have Yoru. Currently, you have 8 airbenders in your army.
I'm not even surprised, but that's still more than I thought. Phenomenal. All right.
At this point, you feel like if you put 1 airbender per sand, per the what are they called again? The sand what? My brain isn't working. Your little sand surfer things. Is that just what they're called? Sand surfers? I can't remember.
Sand sailors.
Sand sailors. Thank you. If you put 1 to a sand sailor, you'll be able to use 8 sand sailors at the same time. That would basically mean that they would have to be constantly doing things with no one to take over if anything happens to them. The safest bet would be to make 4 sand sailors, but you can make up to 8 if you wish.
Yeah, 4 probably the safest bet on that. Ah.
You want to go for 4?
Yeah, let's do 4.
If that is the case, I would like to, as well, I would like you to separate each of them into pairs then. Who would you like to go with each other?
Let's see. They stay together. These two.
You're gonna put Guru Kara with Melee.
I think it'll be very funny. And the newbies who know each other can just be there.
All right. Da-da-da. Oop. At this point, one thing that I will bring up as well, if you would like to, you could have Tikal or Melee be just worrying about Air Bison. That being said, you weren't wanting to fly in anyway because you were worried about them. So they shouldn't have to worry too much about the Air Bison, but we will see into that. So, with the 4 sections of Sand Sailors, you would have to get the Sand Sailors brought in. However, again, you're embossing Say, you have basically unlimited amount of funds to do so. So eventually, throughout that week, while you were messing with things, you also got the 4 Sand Sailors ready. You had gotten a couple more ready, but unfortunately you weren't able to really go about using them. Since there wasn't enough airbenders that came by and you don't have access to any sandbenders. That being said, after a couple more days, I'm going to roll for both Sudi and Nahando, because they would be returning from theirs. Maybe. They might be returning from theirs. Who's to say? Right is Nahando, left is Sudi. I'm going to have them roll 3 times.
Can I give them the Lotus tokens?
You cannot. Because you don't know what any of these rolls are. So I'd just basically be like, which one do you want to do it? The roll that's random here, the roll that's random here, the roll that's random here.
Oh, well.
And last roll. Okay. That was for the information that they potentially would get. Now I need to roll on them to see if either of them did anything bad. They have 2 rolls on this one. If you would like to use them on these, you can. But you have to tell me who you're using it on.
This is the last one, right? Or is there 3 more?
There are 2 rolls coming.
Let's not use them yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Sudi nat 20, that's pretty cool. I'm just rolling for Nahando now. This is the final roll he will be doing. Putting
no
3,
one ever say that I'm not a generous king.
Putting 2 in?
Yeah. Feels like it was unnecessary at this point. Every fucking time.
No. You just have to give those off to the gods, man. That was your good luck tokens.
Fucking damn it.
Nahando did not learn much of anything. However, as Nahando returns, he does tell you that he was assailed by sand pirates. While he had made his way back, however, him and the Daili were able to return without any problems. They were able to shut down those who were attacking them, and because of that 19 they just rolled, they were able to return not only with themselves intact, but they brought with them a sandbender built sand sailor, which is a much higher quality than the ones you have, as well as 4 prisoners of the sandbenders.
No, I'll do that.
You know for a fact that the sandbender made sand sailors, while they can be made with, while they can be used with airbending, most likely would be better used with a sandbender. That being said, you could potentially use it for your own. You could try to sandbend yourself with it. You could try to see if Sudi could dustbend it, maybe. That might be funny. Or you can see if one of the airbenders can handle it. But this one will be a slightly bigger one as well, so it can handle more people. On Sudi's return, they do return after getting a natural 20 on their return trip. Nothing happened with them. They were not assailed, at least as much as you know. As far as the information is concerned, though, she returns and tells you that there are 3 tribes of people in the desert that they were able to find. One was off at the oasis that you would understand to be where your old base was. At the oasis, there are a lot of sandbenders gathered around there, as well as a bunch of water tribe members that are gathered there. They are currently where the most of the people are. There is another section of them who seem to be off by the Great Divide, off to the north of the desert. They weren't able to completely find them since they didn't go all the way over there. But apparently, there is a large amount of them off in that direction, and they appear to be taking a bunch of statues there toward the Great Divide.
Statues.
Mm-hmm. And finally, as far as a tower in the desert, they weren't able to find the tower, but they do know what the tower is. As they explained to you from a person they have found in the deserts, they explained that the tower that that you guys are looking for apparently is the Great Library of the Desert, which apparently has been risen up out of the sands.
Phenomenal. Great Israel. All right.
Sudi's reconnaissance gives you 3 targets, as I will show them on your map currently. You have something over here by where the Great Divide would be, bloop. You have your oasis, bloop. And finally, somewhere in the greater desert, around probably like around here is, I don't know. You would know the tower.
Bottom of the priority list, just from that.
Apparently, that is the place where the Black Ring's headquarters is the tower in the desert. Which most likely means that's where. Which most likely means that's where you will find your glass bending friend.
There's nothing else about that northernmost tribe, the divide, right?
All we had heard was that people were storing a whole lot of statues atop of their sand sailors and taking them off to the north.
What do the statues look like?
We don't know. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make our way all the way there. We could only cover so much ground in a week. I'm sorry.
No, don't blame me. It's fine. You came back with more than I'd ever hoped for, to be honest.
Upon that being said, you now know, Jin, that we are in the summer months. It has just now started to go down. It is up to you. I'd like to know, are you ready to give any sort of orders upon gathering any kind of any of the Ba Sing Se's army? Would you like to give any orders in particular that would be sent along everywhere? I'd like to know if there's anything in particular you want to go and try to attain before going to one of these 3 places. On the map, since you would be the one that would have to make this decision, which is the highest priority target for you? Out of everything we said earlier today and everything in the desert we just now said, what would you like to do with your first send out of people?
Well, logically, we probably want to go after the Ring's headquarters, which happens to be the mythical library. And we do have 4 prisoners that did attack one of our groups.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing would be to try and pry whatever they know out of them. Depending on that,
We can assume that with the fact that I did have them brought here and there was other things there, we can assume that you guys already have. Because the information they would have had would be the same thing as you would have just got from Sudi.
Okay. All right.
I just want to know, there are several targets you can go to.
Yeah, I know. It's, just gotta think of this for a second. All right. It's a little hard to do this without concrete numbers of what I have, but thinking on it. If we can't find the tower, the specific location, the next best place would be the Oasis, seeing as how probably when this all started. Maybe we could take a shot on that on one of the tribes heading north. Maybe more sand vendors, friends, or more problems.
If we go for too many things, we'll be putting ourselves a little bit separated, but at the same time, getting more things done.
I think we should head for the Oasis. If we can get in the Oasis, we can fang out from there. The Black Rings, if Shah Ron isn't there, someone will know where he is. They have to.
Should we send everyone to the Oasis then? If you wish to fan out from there, making a position of, well, giving us a central location would be best.
You don't get much more center than that place. So
it might be easier to contact the other half of Ba Sing Se's army whenever we are in the desert itself anyway. Having them go all the way across would be hard on them, especially with a lot of enemy numbers there. But if they just have to make their way to the Oasis, that could be good for them.
people are going to die in this whole debacle regardless.
It is unavoidable. That is essentially what war gives. I've seen it many times. If you have to worry about that, however, you would then have to think of all the people that have already gone down, especially those of my own city, those of the north without their protector, and essentially everyone within reach of the Black Rings, which we now know to be just about everyone across the world. Even the conflict over in the Fire Nation is something to do with them. You are not going to be able to do anything if you are too afraid of losing everyone.
It's not everyone I'm worried about. All right.
You're the one in charge. We could always lock them away in the dungeons here. Shall I get the guards to take Sudi away right now? What?
Don't be silly. You could never hold her back.
We could get wooden bars.
Too much acid. Also, I need her.
Thank you.
She's growing on me. Look at her side. I hate this. But the best plan I can think of right now, considering I don't know anything about how they spread anyone out, is just break right through, straight to the Oasis, and fortify the ever-loving fuck out of it.
I believe the others had a bit of a plan as well.
Mhm.
I believe that Luca in particular had something they thought they might want to do. Should we bring them here? As well as the
He
rest
just
of
looks
them?
around. Oh, wait. He just looks around. Oh, no one else is here. Yep, get people in here.
You see Mei Li over in the corner because they were here whenever you were bringing in the airbenders, and they're just like, what? But yes, only Mei Li is currently here among the main party.
I just called people, just thinking.
You collect everybody who was around. Akira, this would be after you have obtained your present from the previous avatar.
Okay.
Luca and Ro. Luca and Ru. I said Ro because Ro is around on fucking Nuan. But Luca and Ru, you guys would make your way back as well. You guys would, again, have been practicing throughout the time with your separate things. That's why I can't find you. You're wearing your other outfit.
Haha. Tricked you.
Neat 100.
How dare you?
So I can
like,
get
I feel
changed.
so betrayed.
I was like, where the fuck are you? Ichibe, you would have been mostly keeping to your earthbending training for the most part of the week. So returning toward them would be you would have quite a understanding about at least as far as you can do most of your bending. And again, Mei Li, this would be right after you would be brought in to say that airbending one of the sand sailors would be the quickest way into the desert, and you would have been given your own basically squad for things as Jin wants you to make your way through with Guru Kara. But you have been here for the most part. You have been hearing at least what Jin has been talking about, at least for the past couple of minutes. As the others are brought in, and as you guys are all in front of Jin, you were told that Luca may potentially have a plan for going into the desert. You weren't able to completely remember it whenever you were told that by Oma, but when everybody comes in, you guys are all together.
I imagine Jin looks even more disheveled than when he first met the group, where he was pretending to be a vagabond.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go ahead and perfect. All right, we're back. We're back to original Jin.
It's been a while.
He looks even worse. He looks worse than he ever looked.
You look rough. Have you forgotten to shave?
Huh? Oh, yeah. And I've also forgotten to sleep a lot too.
Not handling leadership as well as you used to, I see.
It's the age. And the politics, it's easier when it's just a dictatorship. Now you all these nobles to worry about.
He's getting old.
Bossing say fucking sucks is what I'm hearing.
I don't know why I ever wanted the city, but that's not the point. We've been able to figure out there's 3 places to hit, potentially. One is hidden, and it is the Great Library of Seaborn Desert. It's real, apparently, and that's where the Black Rings are headquartered. Second, on my priority list, is this oasis here. This used to be my old stomping ground, so I would know it like the back of my hand if it wasn't already, at least a few hundred meters below water. Well, that's probably one of the most defensive positions in the desert, still. Then, rumor of a tribe heading north carrying a bunch of innocuous statues to the Great Divide. Not much more on that. Don't know if they're tired of Sharon's leadership or carrying out some kind of weird order if they still believe he's the prophet. So,
Question as old as time.
so my plan, my idea is we just barrel straight to the Oasis, fortify it, and start looking for that library. I've been told, though, by several people, I'm sure, this is my memory losing it, that there was another plan in the works, Luca.
I think you're gonna have to remind me, by the way. I'm like, wait, we had a plan.
Wasn't there something you wanted to do whenever you went to the desert?
Oh, freezing the desert plan?
that was
Oh
a
yes,
joke.
Team Cryo Desert.
Team Cry Babies.
You know that by freezing the desert over, it would somewhat hinder the sandbenders there.
Okay,
But it would also,
was mostly-
cause a winter to go across a desert, which has probably never seen winter.
yeah, so it's mainly a joke, but you know, if you
Can't
want to
possibly be that
consider
outlandish.
it, we could freeze the desert.
Ow.
In all of our time together, in all of our travels, in all the things we've been through, Luca, you have always consistently been the smart and reasonable one. What happened?
Jesus.
Well,
I mean-
you see, no offense, but the bar was kind of very low.
None taken?
I wasn't that much smarter.
Okay.
You have a reason for thinking this way. Have you thought about how to do something like that?
Well, Yuki and I know how to pretty much cause a winter storm, and it's a thing. I know it's gonna have consequences, but it would also have consequences on people in the desert.
Yeah, you might
Yeah,
actually kill an
yeah.
ecosystem, but
You
we'll win.
want-
Yeah, so it's
But we'll win.
we do win.
Look, I respect you and Yuki's abilities. I don't believe for a moment you can freeze the entirety of Seawon.
I feel like
Luca,
that's a challenge.
Luca, you believe that you could.
I
When it comes to
I hate to tell it to you.
when it comes to your winter storm, you know that you have not really had a big chance to be able to use it. But whenever you were told about this ability by the Ona, and the fact that you have now truly awakened it, if you and Yuki both did it, let alone if you ever got the Ona involved, but if you and Yuki both did it, you could freeze over the majority of the desert, you believe.
I hate to break it to
Jim,
you, Jimbo, but I actually have the
yeah.
power of Big Dick Ona energy.
I know it sounds crazy, but I believe Yuki and I could do it. I haven't had the chance to use this ability properly, but I know what it can do.
Listen,
Don't know what to say to that.
yeah, look, that's a fine emergency plan. If literally all else fails, we can try that.
You know that if you don't do it before the army moves into it, though, you won't be able to use it. Because again, the rule of you can't use it whenever there's a large grouping of things around. You know that as soon as the army steps into that desert, you most likely won't be able to do it.
Jim, could you hear me out?
I'm not steering you toward one or the other. I'm just saying that there's no emergency plan when it comes to this. It's either you do it or you don't. Because as soon as you move on without doing it, you know you won't be able to do it. As soon as you get all of you plus the army of people behind you into that desert, it's gonna be too late.
Yeah, I'll just give the root input. Jin, could you just hear me out on this for a second? Same with everyone.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, afraid of it.
the desert is basically their playground. We're gonna be dealing with sandbenders, so how do we counter that on a better level? Freeze the sand. Seems simple enough. It's not like this is gonna last permanently, correct?
I don't know what it's going to do to Seawalk after. That's my issue.
I mean,
As
are you
horrible
heading
as it
back there?
is,
Do you believe we could, or maybe even, I don't know, Nuwan could stop it after?
I suppose that's up to Nuwan and the extent of her powers.
Hmm.
We have to keep in mind that while we have issues in the desert, everything else that lives in there also has their own ecosystem.
Mhm.
you can freeze to death in the Seawalk Desert at night, but covering it in ice, I don't know.
The idea, by the way,
Yeah.
this ability would not just instantly cover the entire place in ice. It causes a winter storm.
Mm-hmm.
So a
So
large
just start
storm.
flurrying and get worse and worse.
Yes, a large storm would go over the Seawang Desert. At which point, it would rage on for, I believe, if I look on there, a week. But let me look. Winter storm.
I don't know if it states.
Bender call upon a storm ice in the season. This may affect storm radius. This occurs after 2 days. So what this is going to do is mainly you would use this and it would give the winter condition to the Seawang Desert. It's not going to turn it into an ice rink, but it will basically for 2 days have a gigantic storm go over it. Most likely at that point, causing things such as people who are not used to winter things to be debilitated, but also, yes, 2 days of a storm would potentially destroy a lot of stuff there. You wouldn't need anyone to turn it off, and after a little bit of time, it would melt, and everything would return to somewhat of a normalcy after like a couple of weeks / months. But as far as what kind of a good thing it would give you, most sandbenders, you would know, Jin, they are not great at regular earthbending. Most sandbenders, they are very much used to messing with sand. When it comes to your cryoseism ability you are given to by the Ona, most earthbenders can't do that. Most earthbenders can't mess with frozen earth the way you can, because you were given that from the Ona. Some earthbenders might be able to, but you can be seemingly sure that any earthbender that can or any sandbender that can still bend while this is happening, and B, bend the earth that's there, was gonna be a threat no matter what. All I'm saying, if you do this, it will give you guys much less opposition as far as earthbenders are concerned, because they, at least a good majority of them, would not be able to bend. However, again, it would freeze over the desert for at least a couple of days. It is up to you guys. Basically, as soon as this happens, you guys have to move, though.
We should be very ready before we do this thing. I don't know what it's going to do to the ecosystem.
So long as it doesn't do like any like permanent damage, then I think it's okay.
I mean, you guys also know, according to like any reports, the desert's also full of glass now. So it's not like it's not like the bandits give a fuck about the ecosystem.
It's not like we're doing the worst.
See, the thing is, though, Jin would care. Jin cares.
Oh, I know
These
Jin
are,
cares.
the rest of them are all. These other ones are fucking
I'm just
crazy.
letting you know that the winter storm is probably not the worst thing that's happened to the desert in the past couple of years.
And
It allows us, like,
all of our homes have been fucked up by the black rings. Let's just call spade a spade.
Hey, it could be a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
very different. Might actually deter a lot of predators.
Plus, I'm just saying, it would make us a lot more useful. Us, waterbenders.
That's water friends. Does that also have like a negative to our firebenders though?
Well, that'll be fine. What's important?
The negative you would
fire melts ice.
The negative you would get from this is that while you are stopping the sandbenders from doing a bunch, you also do know that there are members of the Southern Water Tribe in the desert. So you would be giving them more ammo as well. However, you're pretty sure there's more sandbenders than there are Southern Water members in the desert.
Besides, it's worse. It'll be fine. It's worse either way. It's fine.
There are highs and lows.
Yeah. There's no.
It's just an option. We don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds to me like for the most part nothing terrible is going to happen if we do it, so we might as well.
All right.
I personally don't believe it, but I guess I'll have to see it. Well, I say see it, but you know what I mean.
Don't worry, Akira, you'll feel it.
Oh, I imagine I will.
Can you just turn your dragon eyes on?
You guys just see Akira also just putting on his like original outfit, just like I need more layers.
Wow.
I need more layers if we're going into the fucking frozen desert.
No, well, if he's gonna do like his big bad move, he's gonna go into his final form. No shirt.
Oh, geez.
I also will run at the enemy naked.
You know how my master's name was the Eye of the Storm? I am the titties of the storm.
Oh, no.
Oh, right. You reminded me of Heroes of the Storm, Titties of the Storm.
I will lightning bend out of my titty.
Your hammer is my penis.
The hammer is my penis.
No.
Thank you, Captain Hammer.
No, you have to make it sound more awkward, like the hammers.
But yeah, you guys talk about it. Are you guys saying that you're gonna do it?
For the remember, what do you call it? Fucking hot fuzz for the greater good. For the greater good. I believe that's what's going on right now.
All right. You let people know what the plan is. Some people are like, oh, that sounds stupid. Some people are like, oh, that sounds brilliant. Some people are like, oh, are we gonna be okay? Either way, you guys spend a couple of days at this point gathering up and getting enough things around to the party as well as to the people that are coming with you to be ready for any sort of winter activity. And they're like, why the fuck are you making us bring jackets into the desert? Oh.
Because we're
going to ruin the desert.
It'll live. It existed before us, it'll exist after us. Now put this on.
As you get things ready, you guys all collect yourselves 2 days before you guys are ready to set out. Yuki and Luca would make their way to the outer walls just before where the desert would be. You guys would have called back any merchants or any other people that would be going in and out of this area. You guys would have given it like another day or so after telling people to allow for people to make their way through who maybe hadn't heard. As you guys do, both Yuki and Luca use their winter storm. Looking out at the horizon, far off away from where you are, you guys see, as soon as Yuki and Luca begin to use their bending, one thing you would notice Luca, as well as Rue, since the two of you were told about this beforehand, is that whenever you finally are using this ability, you see a slight glow going about both you and Yuki as you go about it, as you guys compel the spirits around you to aid you. Spoiler alert, Winter Storm is spirit bending. Anyway.
Oh, shit!
As you guys plead to the boreal spirits, which would be in short supply in the summer, but are still around, are still about. The spirits exist everywhere. As you guys plead with the boreal spirits to allow for a large-scale storm to appear on the horizon, all of you who are watching would see these dark clouds begin to manifest over top of the desert. As they do, they spread more and more and more until a line of gray, dark gray storm clouds appear in front. You guys note that as they do, you guys can see far off strikes, almost seeming to be like lightning throughout the storm. You guys see, even though you can't actually see it, you guys feel a very cold wind coming across the sands. And Jin, as you look on, looking deep and deep into the desert, you see something you have never seen. As soon as the storm appears, there is a rumbling throughout the sands. You make a note as you look forward, as the rumbling continues throughout the sands. There is, just on the edge of the desert where you guys would be, one of the markers that would show itself to be of the spirit of the sands, seemingly shifting and not falling, but somewhat sinking slightly into the sand. As a priest of the desert, I would like you to roll me for your diligence.
Pretty good idea what this is.
You know what it is, but what is it saying?
It's a great question. I wish I knew.
Roll me one more time.
Okay.
Roll me one more time. Remember, I gave you a thing.
Man, maybe I should hold off a little longer, just in case. Let's go. 18 total. I guess it's not a happy thing.
As the marker slightly slides into the sands, you make note, back whenever you would tell people against going through the deserts, you would note, due to your, I want to say religion, because it's basically what it is.
There's many gods in the pantheon of the Sea-Walk Desert tribes.
As the markers would sink into the sands, you believe they only ever sink whenever the sands are telling you that the sands are dangerous. Meaning that whatever spirit is in the sands, you believe, and this could be true or not, that they are warning people not to come into the sands. This is one of the only kindness that the sands ever give any of the travelers. And only those who are true believers can ever attain any sort of knowledge of this. But whenever it seems as if they're sinking, it is usually the spirit of the sands which are telling people to keep themselves safe.
I think Jim would just look at that and go, huh. And he just points that out to people. Whoever's watching this whole debacle happen just points out to the markers.
Yeah,
like,
sure, crazy guy.
You see that thing? You see how that shifted?
Nuance just staring at it.
That means
the thing that ate you in your dream is gonna eat us again.
maybe that means that the desert is so dangerous it's telling people to stay away. Whenever that storm did, it made something very angry. This is what we believe.
It didn't
So
make
the sand settlers are all stocked up,
angry.
right?
It didn't make it angry. It's just warning people not to go in.
All right, but let me try. It's a do not enter sign, a warning that the desert is extremely hazardous now. And it's the only nice thing the desert spirits ever do.
Whenever the desert is angry, then fissures appear all over the place, and sand starts to look as if it is flowing like water.
Oh my.
Yeah. Or great rocks.
If it's already mad.
Or great rocks fall from the sky. Either one of those things happen.
One or the other.
It depends on how the gods are feeling. But anyway, the sand settlers are all stocked up, right?
As you would know that this storm is going to last for 2 days, and then it is going to slowly peter out afterwards. In order for it to have the best effect, you guys now know that in 2 days' time, you are going to leave your way into the desert. As you guys collect everything onto the edge of town, as you guys get everyone ready and about to head out, you guys will have exactly 2 days, which will hopefully just be, the first little bit of the next game, before you guys head off into where the oasis should be. But I think, since we are close to 3.5 hours, I think we're going to end things there for the night. As you guys ready yourselves to head off, as you guys collect the final bits of things you might need, or talk to the final couple of people that you want to check in on before going, you guys stand on the edge. Not a humongous army behind you, but a big enough army behind you, most of which will be walking, whereas a lot of you will be going based in your sand sailors. 2 days later, you guys enter the desert. The frozen sand crunching beneath your feet. We'll see you guys next time.
Here we go. I wonder what fresh horrors await us now that everything's folded.
Santhulu rises up, eats everybody, and then just the campaign ends.
I think one of us is going to stub our toes. I think one of us is going to have a stub.
Ichibei goes back into the spirit world, sees his dad. Yeah, a giant sand kraken or whatever ate me.
Yeah, that was a lot bigger than my kunai chain. I needed like a 300-foot long kunai chain.
It was like a sand octopus or kraken or monster or alien or spirit or something. I don't know.
Some horrible monstrosity.
Those are, son.
Yeah, I think it was an alien. I'm not gonna lie.
What's an alien?
Don't worry about it. They're dead. It doesn't matter.
It came in on the meteor.
What's a
meteor? It wiped out all of humanity.
What's humanity?
Well, if you don't know that part, I don't know what else I can do for you.
But yeah, we will see how things go next time. We will get through, and most likely, because we have frozen over the desert, we will most likely see very, very few random encounters going into the desert, as nobody in their right fucking mind would be alone inside of this section. I'm gonna jump out at them. They're gonna hate it. Oh,
You sound like you hate
gonna
it.
be the greatest ambush ever. Then they jump out, sand bending. Yeah, no sand happens. Oh.
My balls are freezing into my throat.
My balls have combined with my thighs.
Oh no.
But yes, we're gonna end things there for the night. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us today. We will hopefully see how freezing over the desert will aid things going forward, or how it will do other things. There are some winter storm thingies that we have to go over since we haven't had the winter stuff lately. However, you can have advantage on all of the winter checks thanks to winter storm, so you guys are going to be okay with that, hopefully. We will move our way into the desert and all that good stuff. Until next time, guys, like always, later days.
Goodbye.